Helen from Just Imagine Journals in Australia. Today I have a Tim Holtz style tunnel book for you with a 3D effect. I've used Tim Holtz papers because they're quite nice and sturdy. This is a Foundry embossing folder from Tim Holtz, and this is his typing folder, both 3D folders, and I've used a combination of distress inks, distress oxides and gilding wax to get some different effects, as this rust effect, for example. And then the backs of the pages are fairly plain, so that's a blank canvas, so I took the opportunity to do some stenciling there. Here I've added some grid paper and I've written out the lyrics of Imagine going right through the book. Just added some more colour with stenciling. Little girl perched on the circle there, and then you can see back right through. Imagine, be bright, be happy, be you. And then we've got the suitcase die. I've made this little booklet, some Tim Holtz collage paper, some tea-dyed paper, and I've simply put a black hairband in there for the closure or for the binding. And so it's like the little suitcase. And as you see, when it's closed up, you can see right through to the back. So I'm going to pop that aside and I'm going to briefly show you how I did that if you're interested in trying it. So in my case, I used 6 pieces of Tim Holtz paper, but you could use any paper. And then you're going to open it up, and I've folded these in half, or it doesn't have to be in half, and we're going to adhere these pages together with a hinge. So another hinge here, and so on right through to the back. And because you've got those extra hinge, it gives a little bit more thickness. So instead of it just being like this, we're going to have a little spine in our last piece, which is a little bit wider than the others, and you'll end up with something like this, a thin little spine. But pop those aside. And I'm going to just briefly show you the construction, or the basics of the construction. So we've put our pages together. We've got our spine, and these wonderful circles were a freebie from Nathalie at the Line.Arrow Facebook group. And so you take, I took the first circle, laid it on the paper, cut it out, and then that gives me the position now for my second circle, which is ever decreasing. So that's about there. So I would then glue that in position, and then I'm going to cut that out, and then I'll do the next circle underneath, and so on. The last page doesn't have a circle cut out of it because that's the page that you have, in my case, the suitcase on. Then we are going to add some dolls, and what I like to do, because I've also added other things like somewhere where the person stands on, so that's corrugated card. This one is white embossing on with the grid, thanks to Cindy. So I didn't want to just glue everything down, I wanted to be able to play with it. So for example, I'm just going to do this roughly. I've just pinned them in position, and then I can see my next person, you can assume that I've glued that down. And then this person, will that work there? Would that be good? And then as you see here, as the people go towards the back, they're smaller and smaller and smaller, so that you again get that idea of perspective in the distance. So that adds to it. So that's the basics of the construction. And I just wanted to show the typing. The type die started with some packaging from food packaging, and you can see all the different effects that you can get just by playing around with the oxides, distress inks, your own paint, other colouring mediums, and this one's got a bit of gilding wax, so it almost looks like typewriter keys, the silvery. And it's started off just with this plain one. So similarly with the Foundry die, this one's a typing die, the Foundry die is this one. I start with a plain piece and you can see that you're going to get different effects with different colours. And this one's got a bit of embossing done on it, heat embossing, so that's a different effect again. A distress oxides, and you can see all the wonderful different random effects that you can get. And so I've put those random effects together here so that you have some variety and it's just not all the same. So there's my Tim Holtz 3D tunnel book. And if you liked the video, I hope you'll give it a try. And I'd love you to subscribe and to leave me a comment and a like. I always love to hear from you. Thanks so much. Bye for now.